Rager, welcome to, hopefully welcome back, Forsaken v Pillar Chase 2. In front of you, I have every single character in Forsaken. I'm gonna be putting them in a last man standing / 1v1 against MX. If they survive, we're gonna put them in the survive tier. If not, we're gonna put them in the Twitter bio tier. At the very end, we're gonna combine the forces of every single survivor to see if they can subdue, win, or kill MX. Let's get straight into it. We gotta talk about MX as a character. Yeah, this ugly bastard right here. With the base speed of 24, we're gonna have to buff that up to a 25, just so he's able to keep up with the survivors a little bit since their base speed is 26. We want to make it so these characters have to use their abilities to kill the survivors, because they have more damage than the average Forsaken killer. With a stamina of 80, which we're gonna translate to Forsaken stamina, and a damage of 75, this guy could two-shot any survivor in the game. His base attack is a large stomp that does 75 damage and has heavy and lag. His second ability is Charge of Demise, a large dash that does 5 damage for every second that you're in it. Yeah. And his final ability is Pal Hop. He does a massive jump, and if he lands on top of you, he kills you. So the question is how is each character gonna face off against this behemoth? First thing I gotta say with Noob is I gotta put him into survive. As a normal 100 HP, has a normal stamina. The problem lies where in the base game, MX is known for being a character that's always right behind you, but has a little struggle catching up. The thing is when you use Bloxicola, you can outrun every single one of his abilities. Plus, you can outrun MX himself. Second ability, Slate Skin, which low-key makes it so he gets another hit against MX. One of MX's attacks are completely negated, to which he can instantly run away straight after, and MX has to start the chase all over again. MX fans not feeling too good right now, I ain't gonna lie to y'all. And lastly, Ghost Burger. That undetectability is really good for juking. If he just runs into a random room, goes invisible, hides in the corner, and MX walks past him, kinda GG, because his only passive that lets him see through walls is when he kills a survivor. You cooked, man. On to the next character. All my homies hit MX, but are you one of my homies? Become one today. 007N. Easily a survivable again. Another character with base stats and base speed. His biggest strength comes from his abilities, of course. First thing off the bat is his clone ability. He can use a clone to trick MX. He can use a clone to dodge away and or juke MX. And he can use a clone to tank an MX blow. And then you got Cool Guy GUI, where MX runs all the way to him. He TPs across the entirety of the map, and then MX has to go and look for him without an ability to find him. And lastly, Inject, which allows him to control his clone and trick MX even harder. Yeah! I don't see a world in which a competent noob or 07N gets killed by an MX. He has nothing to catch these guys, and even if he does get close, these guys can juke him out so well, and this guy can literally survive an extra hit. Let's get straight into the Sentinel. Shaletsky. I'ma have to put Shaletsky into Twitter bio. What? Rager, you bumbling baboon. I hope you know that I have your IP on my screen and I'm ready to take you off the internet. Calm down! Base health, base stamina. But the weakness all comes within his abilities. Yes, Shaletsky has a slash, but the problem is that MX is pretty much unstoppable. The only way he can use his slash is by getting close to MX. And if you're getting close to MX, that's a death wish. If the MX uses his charging demise or uses his Pal Hop, there's literally nothing that Shaletsky can do. And his fried chicken is literally a useless ability in a last man standing. He can't use it mid-chase. You might as well just lay on the floor with your neck already on the pavement ready to get stomped in. I'm ready, MX! Come and kill me! On to the next character. Guess is a character that has to go into the Twitter survive. What? Rager, how dare you put Shaletsky into Twitter bio and then push guest into surf? Shut up! 115 HP, 100 stamina. The strength comes in every single ability of his. MX's attacks are extremely predictable. More predictable than John Doe. If MX walks up, he uses M1, he can block, he can parry, he can run away. And if MX does the charge, he can block the charge, he can parry, or he can just keep running and then punch him later on and keep running away. And even the Pow Hop, I think he could technically block, because guest mains are able to block 1x projectiles if they're standing close enough. By all means, that means any melee attack gets blocked. So every single one of MX's attacks are useless against block. And then not only that, but you get charge, which allows you to shoulder bash into MX. Now, if this was realistic, this guy would get obliterated. If he charged at MX, he would bounce off of his leg and then MX would stomp on his head. Yeah. And then, of course, his punch is not the most useful ability, but it is really good in parry circumstances. Let's get on to the next character. Two-time. Where would they get put? Would they be on Twitter? Easily Twitter bio. Come on. I know all the two-time mains have left dislikes and started like threatening my family in DMs already. With 90 HP and 100 stamina, they could survive a hit from MX. Here's the problem. The dagger and the ritual are genuinely useless abilities that can't be used. That would mean having to walk up to the MX and the last man standing. Oh, the two times walking up to me? Okay, I'm just gonna use my large charging demise and the two times gonna instantly get obliterated. And since it's a last man standing, the ritual is already useless. It's been used. You've already respawned with the max amount of HP that you can use. So in other words, the only ability that two-time can use is crouch, which is a good ability because they do become undetectable and invisible, which could be used for juking, but here's the problem. Noob is able to run away and go invisible. 07N is able to make clones TP away and go invisible. Two-time can't do either of those. Two-time becomes a stationary target when they crouch. Two-time has literally nothing in their kit to stop this guy. On to the next character. Chance! Woo, woo, woo! My love and my joy, my gambling Pookie Bear. That easily survives. Chance can go from 50 to 130 HP. So no matter what, he gets two-tapped, and in some circumstances, he gets one-tapped. And his stamina is a base of 100. So, in best case scenario, he gets more HP, which doesn't really do much for him, but he can survive a little bit more of the charging demise, which is nice. And worst case scenario, he gets one shot by MX. His Q is his gamble. If he wins his gamble, he gets his abilities. If he loses, he gets weakness, which allows the killer to one-shot him. Best case scenarios for his shots is he turns around, he shoots the killer, and he gets to continue to run away. And the best part is he can stun the killer from far. MX is running at him, he turns around, shoots him down the hallway, he keeps running forward, the MX has to make up so much more space. Worst case scenarios, the gun doesn't blow, he stands there for a second, gets one shot by MX. Second worst case scenario, the gun blows up in his hand, MX walks up, and he gets murdered by MX. You know what? What if we made a whole new tier for Chance? Yeah, we're just gonna, yeah, Cants. That's what we're gonna do. And then his reroll, just one more go at it, and I'll be a millionaire, a college student in debt. What? Me in a couple years, that's all I'm saying, bro. If I ever stop uploading one day, just assume that it didn't go right on red. His reroll will probably not be used in Last Man Standing. So with Chance, it's again a massive gamble, as his character is completely a massive gamble. On to the next character. Mr. Elliot. Ugh. I have to say that Mr. Elliot goes into the survive tier. Elliot of all characters? You're telling me that two-time and Zelensky wouldn't survive, but Elliot? Yeah. Elliot has 80 HP, 100 stamina. So one hit from MX would leave them really not healthy. But the biggest strength of his is rush hour. He gets speed 3 for 3 seconds. And that's it. He just gets an extra speed boost just like Noob to outrun every single one of MX's abilities and outrun MX as a whole. So not only does MX have to catch up to the Elliot one time, but then he has to catch up to him again after he uses the rush hour. Then he has to catch up to him again after he runs after using the rush hour after he gets all of his stamina back. And I'm sorry to the MX. Did I say I'm sorry? I'm not sorry. If I ever apologize to an MX, no. I'm genuinely happy that there's more survived characters. On to the next character. I mean, you really think Druskar's gonna survive, bro? With 90 HP and 100 stamina, he could survive a hit from MX, but every single one of his abilities are useless. He can't use his Q, there's no teammates, and he can't use his E, so imagine this. He charges up the beam. I'm gonna slow you, MX! MX is charging, demising down the hallway. It bounces off of his chest. There's nothing that Druskar can do. He has no abilities. All he can do is run. And if he tries to use a plasma beam, MX can use his 2 movement abilities to charge at this guy. There's nothing Druskar can do. I'm sorry, guys. On to the next character. Engineer. This one is a tricky one. I'm gonna have to put this into Twitter bio. With the health of 90 and a stamina of 100, if Engineer gets prep time and is able to put down his sentry, then maybe he could survive. It depends on if the MX destroys the sentry. Realistically, the MX is probably gonna win. The MX could probably just charge through the sentry while charging at the builder man, and there really isn't much that the builder man's gonna be able to do. And with the dispenser being completely useless, I think, you know what? I think it would be a pretty easy match for MX. So he could jump over the turret. He could charge through the turret. Yeah, no, he's doomed. On to the next character. Mr. Taff. So, Mr. Taff, where do I think you're going? Come on. Even if you give this guy 30 minutes of prep time, I don't think Taff would ever win. With a health of 100 and a stamina of 100, this guy just doesn't have anything in his kit to stop MX at all. Now, technically, if he had prep time, he could put a bunch of tripwires down, and then MX would have to break through every single one of them, and that would slow him down a lot. Oh, wait, he doesn't have to do that, because he could jump over the tripwires. Ain't really a lot that Taff can do. And even if he has the subspace trip mines, they don't stop the movement of the killer. They just make him helpless. Ain't nobody play him in the base game. Ain't nobody gonna play him in the last man standing against the MX. Let's be real with each other. How would every single survivor face against MX? Could they kill or beat MX in any sort of way? First, we have to take into account how every single character is going to work in a team aspect. So how do we make each character useful? Let's see. Noob, I'm gonna say, has to sit in the back. We're just gonna have Noob run away if we want him to survive. 07N could trick the killer with his goons, which allows the other survivors to prep more, or to use that distraction to attack MX. So, 07N, a little bit useful, but we'll keep in the back. Guest easily has to be a frontliner. We have to put Guest in the front. We have to make him defend against the big attacks of MX, preferably his pal hop. Elliot, of course, would be healing his team, and in worst case scenarios, he can run away. Chance I'd put next to the supports, just because I don't want him to be in the front, and then his gun doesn't go off or something like that. Shaletsky's another frontliner that I'm gonna have to put right behind Guest, because we want Guest to take the main blow, and then Shaletsky to come in with his stun. Right there next to Guest, we want to put Two-Time, because Two-Time would be able to sneak around and get a backstab off of MX and try to subdue him that way. With Druskar able to give a huge damage reduction to Guest in the front lines, Druskar can sit all the way in the back. And lastly, the two supports. Well, I'm gonna say that these are gonna be the final stands. We're gonna put them very in the back right next to Druskar, and we're just gonna set up a fortress and hope that the rest of the team doesn't die. So with the whole team laid out, do I think that they could subdue MX of all people? The big behemoth. I'm gonna have to say, no. Rager, you just explained this giant death plan on how they're gonna destroy MX. Are you stupid in the brain? Cooldowns. Even if Guest is able to block the large attack or block the pow hop, he will not be able to get another block in by the time that MX is unstunned and is able to start attacking again. And another big issue is that he can't block the demise. Yes, he can block the damage of the demise, but he can't block the movement of the demise. It would go straight through the Guest right to the back of the team, and if he gets in the back line, you're doomed, and there's not much that we can do. With the damage that MX has, and the movement that MX has, and the cooldowns that MX has, I don't see a way that any of the survivors would be able to kill him. I don't think the Forsaken survivors, even if banding all together, could take down or subdue the MX.